friends. I'm Lainey.
And I'm Laura Beth.
And we are Steel Magnolias.
Two sisters who love family, traditions, and all things Southern.
We've got plenty of room at our table, so pull up a chair. Hi, Laura Beth.
Lainey, how are you?
I'm good. So can you believe it has been a year since I got Libby?
Has it really?
Is that crazy?
So you got her last September.
I rescued her last year in September.
Wow.
And yeah, so it's time for vaccinations again and all that jazz. But what joy she's brought, particularly during quarantine and all and surgery recovery. But
she is so stinking cute.
She's been such a good, faithful buddy.
She's, yeah, she's like every bit Springer Spaniel too. She's got the merry bustle.
I know,
right?
that's shaking her little bottom.
Yeah.
It's so cute. I love following the hashtag Springer Spaniel on Instagram. Because,
really?
Oh my
Okay.
gosh, you just see all kinds of cute puppies and old dogs and
Oh, that's fun.
catching a ball in midair or bird hunting. Like, there's just so many good pictures
That's
on
fun.
there. And it makes me wonder what she was like as a pup.
I
'Cause
know.
I got her at 4.
Right.
So now 5.
Wow.
I know. I
You
want
need
her
to
to
have a
live
little
forever.
gotcha day party.
Oh,
We could do that. Get
that
some
would be sweet.
ice cream. Have some doggy friend.
She would love
over.
that.
Yeah.
I'm excited about our topic today.
Me too, but big caution caveat at the front. If you're hungry right
Oh my
now,
gosh.
pause. Go get yourself something to eat. Or maybe
I was so hungry, weren't you?
this made
doing
me, all this research made me so hungry. More than most
most episodes. Maybe we were both working on it when we were hungry, but
Maybe.
I did 2 different sittings of
Okay.
working on it, and yeah, I got really hungry, and
Well.
it made me want to travel.
So there's your warning.
Lots of things make me want to travel.
No. There's your warning. If you're not near food and it's going to be a while, maybe pause this and come back to it. But if you're looking for dinner ideas or
We're about to set you up,
want
or
some
travel ideas.
inspiration, we got you covered. So we actually tasted. We did a tasting. How funny for Southern sandwiches. No, we just had one sandwich, and it's the first one we're going to start with, which would be the Muffaletta or Muffaletta.
Yeah, you hear it both ways.
What do you say?
I say Muffaletta.
Oh my gosh, I say Muffaletta.
Tomato.
I thought we would be the same since we're related.
I don't know where I got it, but yes, definitely a New Orleans tradition.
By way of Sicily.
Yes, but this sandwich started in New Orleans.
Yeah.
That's what I read.
Yeah. Well,
Italian immigrants from Sicily
right.
that were there and came up with this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Creation.
So it's got to be on Sicilian sesame bread, which we had it on sesame bread today.
Yes.
I don't know if that was Sicilian.
Laura Beth picked this up from Jason's Deli.
Yeah. So we're
Obviously, we're not in New
Orleans.
Orleans, so we
And
don't
I'm-
have as many choices.
Right. I'm not saying Jason's Deli is the best muffaletta you can get. I'm just saying it was the closest one to us.
And it was dang good.
And it was very good. So there are...
Particularly the ham one.
Yes. We'll get into that.
Okay.
But yeah.
I thought it was
We didn't
much
have the
better.
luxury of like having an awesome diner or hole in the wall spot in New Orleans to go grab one.
Right. You would find these many places in New Orleans. In fact, when I made a trip to New Orleans, I brought home a jar of I guess you would call it like an olive tapenade. It's that you use on this sandwich. Anyway, let's talk about the sandwich.
Okay. So I saw that it was created in 1906 at Central Grocery Company on Decatur Street in New Orleans.
Yes.
And like you had already mentioned, a Sicilian immigrant.
It's pretty much always a round sandwich, right?
I think so.
I
yeah.
think it is.
Yeah, we ordered half.
And it was humongous.
Our sandwich was huge. Yeah.
Now, we did eat it all. Maybe it's because we were hungry.
We shared a half. We each ate a quarter of it, though.
Well, that's true.
Yeah.
That's true. God.
Yeah.
How would you ever eat more than... Well...
So, yeah. So a traditional style muffaletta sandwich consists of the muffaletta loaf, which I've already mentioned is typically Sicilian sesame bread, split horizontally and covered with layers of marinated Muffaletta-style olive salad, which the olive salad consists of like celery, cauliflower, carrot, seasoned oregano, garlic, olive oil.
Yeah, different people do different variations.
Yeah.
But that's kind of the gist, is it's got this wonderful olive oil base.
Yes.
Yummy. And it's chopped real fine. So you can
Yes.
see that there's carrot, but it doesn't look like carrot. It's
No.
just like a little orange tiny piece because
Yeah.
it's very fine.
Right.
How it's all chopped. I think it's usually black and green olives together.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you see sometimes people will even throw in like roasted red pepper or pickled
Yes.
onions.
Yes.
Different things.
Very Mediterranean, Italian. Yes. So
And that oil like seeps into the bread.
yeah, served cold.
Typically.
It's got salami, ham, Swiss cheese, probably some provolone. What else? Yeah, some vendors will toast it.
Yeah, that's kind of even one of the controversies. You know how there's lots of things where
Yes.
people are like, but yeah, the heated or not question is real divisive
Yeah.
in New Orleans. Most say no.
Okay.
There's a popular place called Napoleon House. They do theirs heated, but most say no
Okay.
to that.
So there's probably some like Napoleon House diehards out there too.
Right, that are like, this is the best one.
Yeah.
Don't ever do it cold.
Right.
But I think most people would serve this cold. But yeah, usually the salad is refrigerated at least overnight. Like it makes all of that flavor kind of meld together.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, it's so flavorful.
Yeah, I think it would be good to make an olive salad just not even for this sandwich sometime. Just to eat.
I've made an olive tapenade just to eat like with the wine and
Yeah.
cheese or something.
Because I'm looking through this list, green olives, Kalamata olives, garlic, cauliflower, capers, celery, carrot, pepperoncini, onions, celery seed. I mean, this is good for you stuff.
Yeah. I would say, I know olives are even divisive with people, like if they like them or don't like them.
Okay.
Don't you think you would pretty much need to be an olive thumbs up olives person to enjoy this?
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I am. So.
Yeah, I am too. Yeah. I'm not necessarily like a ham and cheese sandwich person though. So this changes the ham flavor because the salami flavor is usually so powerful.
Yes, that's true. As is the olive taste.
I kind of forgot there was even ham on there for a second.
And you got a small turkey one as well.
Right.
From Jason's. I don't know if that's even ever served that way in New Orleans. I'm not sure. I think they're mostly
deli thing.
But I would say, though I usually would lean towards turkey for a sandwich, no way on this. The ham salami was so much more flavorful than the turkey. Yeah. Skip the turkey.
Yeah. Okay. So Muffaletta. Great sandwich.
They, it's so funny because there's a festival for everything.
Is there one?
I noticed that there had been a Muffaletta festival. However, I'm not sure that it's still going.
Oh.
And it's not just the COVID.
Oh, okay.
Sometimes it's a COVID thing. It looked like the last one I could find was 2018. But anyway, it looked really fun because it was very Italian. It was bocce ball. It was cannolis and gelato and like all things glorious.
Yes.
That Italy brings
in
to
New
the
Orleans.
table. Yes.
Of course. Yeah.
Yeah, they like to party in New Orleans. In fact, I don't think I would have failed out at Tulane. That would never have gone well. If I had gone to school in a town like New Orleans, it would not have ended well. Okay. Our dad made the comment the other day. He would like to go to New Orleans and eat his way through a week. And I was like, let's do it, Dad. That sounds so fun.
Fun trip. Well, sticking in New Orleans, we got
So I was just thinking, here's another one. The Po Boy.
Yes.
Such a great sandwich.
P.O. Po Boy.
Po. Did you read where the name came from?
Kind of. Not much. Do you have much history on it?
Well, I think I can remember it. I actually was listening to somebody tell a story about it. Basically, well, let's talk about the sandwich first. It's a traditional New Orleans, Louisiana sandwich. It almost always consists of meat, which is usually roast beef or fried seafood.
Yep.
That's the basic ones you're going to see. We're talking fried shrimp, crawfish, fried catfish, fried oysters, or even soft shell crab.
Yeah.
I've seen. It's served on New Orleans French bread, which is not just like a baguette.
Yes.
It's a little different. It's more like crisp crust on the outside, really fluffy on the inside.
Okay. That sounds hard to make.
I know. In fact, there's many that say if it's not in New Orleans, it's not technically a po' boy.
Oh, so it's like champagne.
That's what they're saying.
Okay.
And the reason, and I don't understand all of this, but I do know just from my limited baking, yeast is so finicky.
Yes, it is.
I mean, if it's a cold day outside, your bread might not rise as much. I mean, literally, things like that.
Right. Even though your bread is not even outside.
Yeah. Right. So supposedly the humidity of New Orleans does something with this yeast that makes this bread really different there than it does if you're eating one somewhere else. I don't know if that's all true, but I do kind of get it.
Yeah.
That it could be. And the bread is kind of the signature thing with these sandwiches is it's got to be that crisp outside, yet really fluffy inside. So what I was saying about the story, apparently there were 2 former streetcar conductors. Streetcar was like the main mode of transportation at the time in New Orleans. And they had retired before the Great Depression. These 2 guys, I think they were brothers. Well, yes, because they started Martin Brothers Coffee Stand.
Okay.
So they start this coffee stand, and it was more than coffee. It was also a little restaurant. But the streetcar industry went on strike. And the story has it that they offered to feed the po' boys.
Okay.
Because they weren't. Weren't making any money. So if they would come in and show their badge that they were streetcar employees, they would feed them.
Okay.
Now, those first ones apparently were mostly fried potato and just a roast beef gravy. That's all it was.
That's po'. That is po', right?
That's right.
Wow.
So, but that's where the name supposedly came from of the po' boy.
That's fun.
I know. I've got a couple more things. Do you have any more on that?
No,
well,
no.
I wanted to say they're usually similar to muffaletta, sold like whole or a half.
Yeah.
A half is like 8 inches, so that's still pretty big. A whole usually like around 12 inches. One thing I really like about the idea of this po' boy, it reminded me, remember when we did our Meat and 3 episode? And we talked about how you'll see in one location, like the business suit.
Yep.
With the, blue collar worker eating side by side.
Yeah.
I think this is a similar thing with the po' boy. You see all walks of life eating together.
Yeah.
It's not just for the elite. Yeah. And I love that
I do too.
Much.
I looked around at restaurants around here that have it on their menu, and it's typically what I would consider like bar food kinds of places. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
Like their specialty is probably more of their, in-house brewery than their food.
Yes.
Those sorts of restaurants seem to have po' boys on the menu.
I would think like a Cajun place should.
Yeah.
I remember a friend of ours telling us about Voodoo Gumbo in Bellevue, which we haven't been to yet. But I think they're supposed to have a pretty good po' boy for the Nashville area. Yeah. But again, is it technically a po' boy? I don't know how specific we have to get.
Pretty far from New Orleans. So
this sandwich is similar. If any of you have ever had a Vietnamese sandwich, it's called a banh mi.
Okay.
Similar in the bread and the way they put it's got a little more Vietnamese spice in it. But just to kind of give somebody an example if they've ever had that.
Always bringing in the Asian culture. Thank you, Lainey. Love it.
But again, many places that are famous in New Orleans to have these. I did reach out to Stan, our friend who is in New Orleans quite often with work. His favorite is called Domalices. I think that's how you'd say it. They're known for their shrimp or roast beef. And he said that's probably his favorite. The Central Deli is still...
Is it still operating?
A popular spot.
Well,
I think it's moved.
Yeah.
But yes, I believe, I think that's the one where the Obamas had been when they were in New Orleans. And, like kind of a popular place to have that sandwich. Parkway Bakery and Tavern is another famous one, and they're also known for their root beer, and I love good root beer, so
I do too.
I wouldn't mind going to that one because
Now you're going to make me want root beer. Wow.
Anyway, if you are in that area, definitely check it out. There's even so many varieties of this sandwich. You see people that do like really she things with it, and you know.
Well,
and
it's seafood primarily, so
you can do
that
a
can
lot
get
with
expensive.
that. That's true.
We're not saying this a po' boy is cheap.
Sometime
nowadays.
I want us to do an episode just on like soft shell crab, because I think they're so fascinating how you literally eat the whole, you know, they just fry it and you can eat the whole thing.
Yeah, that is
so
weird.
Funny. I've done it. It's pretty tasty.
Yeah.
But anyway, that is the po' boy.
Well, thank you. That was a good overview. I wanted to mention one.
Oh, and it has a big festival.
Oh, are
there
you
is
serious?
an Oak Street Po Boyfest. It's huge, and you see it's specifically to this sandwich.
This is again in New Orleans.
In New Orleans, and that's, you really see some fun, different variations at that festival.
Yeah.
It's on pause. It's usually November, but it's on pause due to the stinking COVID. But anyway. Yeah. It'll be back, I feel sure, because it's been going for a while. Yeah. So that might be a fun time to go.
2021 is going to be a calendar-heavy year, right?
Right. We're all going to want to go everywhere.
Everybody's going to be gone every night of the week.
And to me, November is the time to go to New Orleans, not July, when we went. For Pearl Jam.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, I got to mention, even though it's gotten a lot of talk time on this podcast, so I'll keep it brief, Ham Delights.
Oh, yes.
That is a Southern
I didn't have that
staple
on my list
of a sandwich. Specifically for parties and gatherings.
They'll be gone. So make 2 pans if you were hoping to have leftovers.
So I think of the sandwiches we're mentioning today, this is the one that works best for large gatherings, because you're going to make it on little rolls.
Yes.
Hopefully you can find some King's Hawaiian rolls.
Yes.
Near you.
Those Pepperidge Farm ones are good too.
Pepperidge Farms are good.
They are.
But I'm just saying, you don't even have to do a lot of slicing.
It's so true. But yeah, and I like that size, because if you're at a potluck, you're wanting a little of this, a little of that. I don't want a big sandwich.
Right.
Like I just want one of those little cuteness Ham Delights.
So it's ham, Swiss cheese, butter, mustard, poppy seeds, Worcestershire sauce. It's on our Pinterest page. It's been there. Also, our Pinterest page has a lot of recipes. So if you're wanting to follow all the things that we usually talk about, that's where you're going to find it. But anyway, you got to give a little nod to Ham Delights, even if you're not going to give the full history and things. It's a great party sandwich.
It really is.
Okay.
Now, we can't do a sandwich episode and not talk about some good old barbecue.
Absolutely.
And the Texas brisket, I mean, it's its own beast, and it is, when done well, so stinking good.
So I don't think I've ever had it on a sandwich.
Oh, girl. Well, brisket any kind of way is glory.
I think I've just always had it on its own.
Austin is another city I want to revisit, and I want to go to Aaron Franklin's place. He does 160 briskets a day.
My goodness.
We're talking about a lot of brisket sandwiches.
When does he sleep?
Well, I'm sure it's not literally
him. I know, but
they're doing it all.
That's long days.
Oh, man. Well, he, I don't know why I'm stuck on. Anyway, most of the time when you see it on a sandwich, it's like Texas toast. It's like white bread.
Yeah.
You're not talking about fancy buns, typically. Some people do it on a bun.
Yeah.
But you're usually going to see just that Texas toast kind of bread.
Yeah.
Then that brisket, which is, when it's done well, it's just
so tender.
Falls apart.
Yes, so tender.
It's typically sliced. Occasionally you'll see chopped. I don't personally like it chopped as much as sliced.
Yeah.
It's often served with like the pickled kinds of things. Pickled jalapenos, pickled okra. You might see cherry peppers or sliced onions, dill pickles, something pickled.
Yeah.
There as well.
It's kind of your relish. Yeah.
And what else would I say? It's usually, they keep it pretty simple. Some people put sauce, drench it in sauce.
Yeah.
Some people
that sounds so messy.
For me, good brisket doesn't need a lot of sauce. Maybe a little, but it's just that smoky moistness. It's just enough.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's enough, but I just
piggybacking on that would be a pulled pork barbecue sandwich.
Yes, Lord.
But that would be more on your bun.
Yes.
Like just a whatever.
Now I can eat pulled pork any kind of way on nachos, but
That's
yes,
true.
it is known for the sandwich.
So pulled pork is great on a sandwich if you don't have the luxury of maybe sitting down to eat. Like if you're on the go,
Yeah, great festival
this is
food.
a great way to get to eat barbecue if you're needing
Yes.
your hands differently.
Yes.
Like you don't have a fork and knife to, you know, well, not that you need a knife, but a fork to actually sit down and eat it with. And I love when they have
coleslaw on it
on the sandwich.
I do too.
So then, I mean,
It's
to
literally
me,
a meal
it's like
on
you're
a bun.
meeting 3 on a
on a bun. I am currently smoking a pork shoulder right now, right behind you outside. That's happening as we speak.
so authentic. we what do we do? What's the saying? Preach.
Practice what
Practice
we
what
preach.
you preach. Yes.
I'm going to make this pulled pork for, I'm actually taking a meal to somebody. And I thought that would be a fun thing to take that's homemade instead of just picking something up for them. And so I got one that was big enough for me to have a little too.
But wouldn't you say any barbecue joint's going to offer it in a sandwich form?
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. And no shame in picking it up if you don't want to smoke it because it's a lot of work. But
It sure is.
yes, brisket or pulled pork, both really yummy on a sandwich.
So closer to home, we finally have come to one on the list that isn't New Orleans. It is in our hometown.
That's right. Nashville Hot Chicken.
Yeah.
That has become so popular that it's on some menus nationally now. Oh, Charlie's has it on there.
That is so funny.
I know that's still Southern, but
yeah.
yeah, it's kind of a thing now.
Oh, it's for sure a thing. Like, yeah.
Now, I would say I like to give credit where credit is due. This started in our like African American owned restaurants. It might be in all kinds of restaurants now, but that's where it started.
Exactly.
And it's typically a breast or thigh. It's like a big chunk piece of meat.
Yeah.
It's been marinated in seasoning and flour, and it's fried.
Yes.
Can be deep fried, sometimes pan fried, but it's spicy.
It
That's
is
the thing. It is
got
literally a mix of lard and cayenne that they put on.
I
there.
can't really handle Nashville Hot Chicken, so the sandwich form is slightly doable to me because the bread's there to help me cut through the heat.
Yeah, because
Wow.
I mean, I've never even had one that was like, you know how there's all these extreme levels?
Oh, yeah.
I so miss Anthony Bourdain. You know, I loved that guy. I loved watching his show, and he did a show here in Nashville. And I still remember the episode where they went and ate Nashville Hot Chicken.
Oh, really? Okay.
And it was hysterical because it was he and Sean Brock.
Oh, wow.
And they got like the hot.
Were they dying?
They were dying. They were drinking like big glasses of cold milk to try and like not choke on it. It was so hot. So check that episode out. It's
That is
old,
awesome.
so I don't even know if it's still around.
Yeah.
But it was
what was
so
his
cute.
show called?
Well, he had a couple different ones, and you asked me on the spot. Let me think.
That's
He
fine.
had
I'll link to it in our
Parts
show.
Unknown was one, and No Reservations was one. Anyway, we'll find it. And
Okay.
link it because that was pretty cute.
Yeah.
But yeah, that sandwich is for the people that like heat.
Yeah. Which, if you heard our hot sauce episode a couple of weeks back, I'm pretty mild on the hot, so.
I had somebody send me a text this week, and it said something about the Scoville scale, and I was like, I know what the Scoville scale is. This is awesome.
You're next level. I love it. Well, good. I'm glad Nashville at least had some nod
We got
on
a
the
shout
list.
out. We got a shout out. And then we
Okay.
can go north. No, we'll go south first.
Yes.
So we sometimes question if the low part of Florida is the South. It's kind of its own beast, but
We claim Florida when we need it. So we
we need
needed
it today. They have made famous in the Tampa and Key West, both areas.
Yes.
The Cuban
Yes.
sandwich. It's a variation of a ham and cheese sandwich. And again, just like the Muffaletta, it came from immigrants, Cuban immigrants that were in those areas. And they have now even brought the sandwich to other areas, Miami and things like that. The main ingredients are Cuban bread. So this sandwich looks to me kind of like a panini. It's pressed
Yeah.
You know, it has the
good.
grill
Yes.
marks. I
Yeah.
think of it like
Yeah.
that. It's Cuban bread, ham, roasted pork, Swiss cheese, pickles, and mustard.
Yum.
In Tampa, they put salami. In Key West, no salami.
Okay.
So there's a little variation you might see, and often lettuce and tomato. So yeah, many lovers of the Cuban sandwich. So, also, what was I going to say about that? Oh, generally, agreed that it has to be mustard, and some places do mayonnaise, some don't.
Okay.
That's another variation. And like many great sandwiches, Tampa hosts a Cubano festival.
Oh, fun.
Where entrants compete for the best pressed sandwich.
Oh, that's cool.
There's another festival to add to the 2021 calendar.
That's right. Okay, let's talk about up in Kentucky, the hot brown. We've mentioned
personal fave.
We've mentioned this one on here before because you make this one a lot.
I've made the real sandwich with the hot brown, with the blah blah blah. I can't even talk. Brown Hotels recipe.
Yeah.
And then I also make a slider that's way simpler.
So the hot brown, sometimes called the Louisville hot brown, or sometimes called Kentucky hot brown. All the same sandwich. They, let's see, this was an American hot sandwich created at the Brown Hotel, which is in Louisville.
Beautiful hotel.
By Fred K. Schmidt in 1926. I feel like the 20s come up so much on this podcast. Like, lively things were happening then.
Well, I didn't look up the story to this sandwich, but I think we talked about it one time. The history of how it came to be made. It's so cute.
Yeah.
You know, in the 20s, they were doing all those fun dances.
Yes.
And once the dance was over, people were hungry.
Yeah.
And it's like 2 a.m.
Okay.
So you're not like, what do we have in the kitchen we can make?
Right.
And they just put this together because they had turkey, bacon, and tomatoes.
Yeah.
So they started making this wonderful sandwich.
Yeah, because before that, they were serving like ham and egg, maybe something like that as a late night supper.
So that's how this was birthed, was the after party.
Yeah.
Hunger needs.
Some good things do happen after midnight, apparently.
So the sandwich was birthed. But
so this would be open face, which
it's open faced, and I got one at the Brown Hotel. It's so fun to go there and have one. It's actually served in the cast iron skillet that they make it in.
That's cool.
So it is hot. And it
almost
looks like a casserole. It's hysterical.
Oh, wow.
Because it's, this bread on the bottom.
Yeah.
Then like nice thick turkey breast. It's not, don't think deli meat.
Not at
all. We're
all.
talking like a nice turkey breast. Slices. Fairly thick.
Yeah. Like your Thanksgiving dinner turkey slice.
And I made it the day after Thanksgiving one time just to, because I had that on hand. Then they put fresh tomatoes and a really rich Mornay sauce, which is like a cream cheese sauce. Mm-hmm. That pours over. They bake it for 18 minutes until it's bubbly, and then add bacon.
Yes.
So this is not a low-cal.
Nothing on this episode is low-cal.
We really haven't had anything low-cal. But it is, and then they put a little fresh Parmesan on the top and some paprika. Oh my gosh. So yummy.
Yes. And did you say sometimes pimentos are on there?
Well,
sometimes.
I didn't. Now, the sandwich, the sliders that I make, you bake in the oven, and it's pimentos and not tomato.
Okay.
And it's not exactly right as far as if you're trying to be proper hot brown.
Yeah.
But it has the similar taste, and it's real yummy. So, but this is a full, heavy sandwich.
Very heavy. Yeah. So, I mean, moving beyond the 20s even, like, once this debuted at the Brown Hotel, 95% of the customers were ordering this sandwich.
That's so funny.
Yeah. Talk about a hit.
Really? Well, and it's like, I can't imagine eating something like that at 2 a.m.
No, not at all. I would have to have been really dancing
you
hard.
You would have to dance hard to work that off.
Really hard, yeah.
Well, those are like the fancy, pretty
those are menu
sandwiches
items, right?
that we have in the South. Exactly. But I even wanted to include a few not so fancies that you might have in Grandma's kitchen.
I was going to say, like, let's talk about what's actually happening in your
Grandma
Southern kitchen.
Necessarily flips making rich Mornay sauce to go on top.
No.
So enter the bologna sandwich is what we call it. Fried bologna sandwich.
Bologna, as our great aunt used to say. Fried bologna.
Well, and the idea of that comes from Bologna, Italy.
Yeah.
That's where the name comes from. Now, theirs has like peppercorn and other stuff in it. Ours doesn't have any of that in it. It's just processed to the nth degree. It kind of makes me sick to think about it. But this is considered like the poor man's steak.
Yes.
So, literally, it's typically just sliced. Sometimes it has that red ring around it that you peel off from
my gosh, the red ring.
You know, it's from the sausage thing where they
casing.
But you just cut a little slit in it and fry it, and that little slit because it starts to kind of curl, so that makes it lay flatter.
I didn't know to cut. I don't even know that I've ever fried it. So
well, it's not something I enjoy.
If I ever do, I'll know to cut the slit so it doesn't curl.
That's right. Because it will, in the skillet, start to curl up. But this is usually just between 2 slices of white bread. Mm-hmm. Pretty plain. You might want to put little mayonnaise or mustard. Right. But you don't usually see very fancy on this.
I'm being transported into our great aunt and uncle's very small
house
right now.
Yeah, and the whole house would smell like that.
Like it, yeah. All 4 rooms.
No, on Short Street. Okay, so another one that you might see on white bread.
Yep.
With Duke's mayonnaise is just a good old tomato sandwich.
Tomato sandwich. So definitely summertime too when tomatoes are so fresh.
Yeah. And it's just a hit with that white bread, Duke's mayonnaise, and a really juicy, flavorful Cherokee purple tomato sliced on there.
Yeah.
Perfection.
Yeah.
You might even see somebody that has some bacon do a BLT.
There you go.
That's another one.
True.
Dad had me cracking up. I was asking him about Southern sandwiches. What does he think of? And he said, well, you know, when I would make a BLT, I was lucky to have 2 slices of bacon on there. Now I see them on menus and they're mile high.
So Dad did an open face BLT because he didn't have the other slice.
So funny. And then we can't not say pimento cheese. I mean, good Lord, that's a Southern staple.
It sure is.
Sandwich.
And anytime I've been making them lately, I've been doing it a grilled pimento cheese.
I mean, that's even famous at the Masters in Augusta.
Oh, is it?
They have pimento cheese sandwiches, and that's a pretty shishi affair. So
that's funny to me.
Yeah, it's iconic in the South.
It's like the way grits are now on fancy restaurant menus.
Right, I know.
Pimento
so
cheese.
Funny. Well, see, aren't y'all hungry?
That was a good list.
I think
that was a really good
We covered
list.
the fancy to the not so fancy, the thin to the thick.
Yeah. I feel like we claim a lot of good things in the South, and I'm adding sandwiches to it now, too.
Come on. I think we have some of the best ones. Now, often they're from immigrants from all different places, but well, that's okay. They're still Southerners.
Settled here, so we get to claim it.
Pretty much all immigrants at
some
point, unless you're Native American.
That's so true. All right. Well, that was fun. And
we hope we've enticed you to grill up something good this week.
I know. And autumn's coming. First day of autumn's coming pretty soon.
We'll have to do Southern soups. Is that such a thing? I just love soup when it starts getting colder.
I do too. All right. That's enough. We're good. That was a good episode. We hope y'all had fun
on this journey.
Peace be with you.
And also with y'all.